There is an idea, a myth going around that just because it's family, we have to put up with everything.
That's not
Okay,
true.
that's not true. If it is a family member, they should treat you even better because they're a family better. It's
Exactly.
not the other way around. So
Right.
just because it's your family doesn't mean that they can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, there is this idea. I think that society wants to keep families together and everything, and
Yes.
it's useful to society to keep families together. But some family members suck. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chai with Us podcast. This is episode number 7. I am Erika, the personal developer, and
And I'm Ivana from okoloizabells. And this morning, I am drinking a ginger turmeric chai. What about you?
oh, that sounds so good, and I love turmeric. I am drinking green tea with lemon and
Ooh,
also a little bit of honey because I still have my throat
yeah,
these days
I like that.
after all those classes. Yeah. So today's episode is basically healthy relationships, all sorts of relationships. We want to talk about all the relationships we have in our lives, from family to friends, everything, and how
Acquaintances?
to acquaintances, and how to have healthy relationships everywhere we
Mm-hmm.
go and with everybody.
That's true. And I would venture to say that every person you interact with at some point during the day, you have a relationship with that person. So let's say it's the grocer that's checking you out at the grocery store.
Mhm.
During that time that you're interacting with them, you're forming a relationship, however short, and you're still exchanging energy with each other.
Yeah, it's true. Don't you think that people think about relationships like it's only a relationship if it's longer? Don't
Mhm.
you think that people have this kind of idea like if you had a relationship for 2 months with someone, then it was not a relationship? I mean,
Yes,
it's
I
still a
think, yeah,
relationship,
some people
right?
think that. Yeah, but it doesn't have to be that way. Like you could meet a friend for the day and share intimate things with each other, and that's still a relationship that you had with a person even though it was one day. And what is that thing that you always say? It's you have friendships, some for a season, reason, and lifetime.
Season, so people come into your life for a season, a
Hmm.
reason, or a lifetime. Some people come to your life just because you needed someone to help you through, I don't know, a
Hmm.
process or to learn something. Some people come for a reason, like you need to learn something. Life is trying to teach you a lesson, and then you meet that person. And then you have the lifetime people who are
Yes.
like your friends for life, or your family,
Hmm.
or your partner. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes what happens is that, for example, like I had a best friend that was Turkish when I was living in Germany. So we knew each other from first grade until fifth grade. And then most recently, so like 25, 30 years later, we reconnected and we're friends again. And it's so nice that now we can catch each other up on things and remember what happened in first and second grade. So even if a person disappears from your life, you never know when they're going to come back.
Yeah, yeah. What we are still alive, and we never know what's
Yes.
going to happen. And it's so, especially when you travel a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and you go around the world and you meet people, you never know when you're going to reconnect again. With us, for example, we have
Mm-hmm.
met in India. We spoke a couple of times, and then all of a sudden, you were here in Tenerife for a holiday, and we are doing this podcast. So
Yes.
we never know.
You never
Yeah.
know where a relationship will lead you.
Exactly. And one point that I really, besides the people coming into your life for a reason, I think it's
Hmm.
also important for us to understand that we also have the power. Like you can have a short relationship, a long relationship, but remember that you can also like choose which people you want that to make a part of your life. And this is
Yes.
so cool because sometimes when we're talking about dating scenario and stuff
Hmm.
like that, we sometimes think like, oh, this person just came to my life, so it is. No, it's not like that. You get to choose if this person is going to stay
Right.
or if this person is going to leave. It's going to be like a shorter time or a longer time,
That is such a good point because it is a choice, like you said. And
Yeah.
so the person, like you decide how you want the relationship to proceed. Like you are
Mhm.
always in charge of like your energy level, what you want to add to the relationship, how much you want to share about yourself.
Yes.
I think for me, every time I'm traveling, I feel like I'm the first one that opens up and shares something intimate. And then that gives space to the other person to also share something intimate because there's mutual trust between us.
Yeah, that is so true. And I love that about you because that's what like people feel like they can talk to you because
Yes.
you take the first step. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
in order to create like a real relationship, a deep connection, you have to be the first person to just,
Mm-hmm.
step up and say, you know what, I'm going to share this with you.
Yeah, and
And
that's how we kind of
maybe,
became friends
yes,
because of all this, all the funny things that happened in both our lives that we were
yes,
able to laugh about
it's
together.
true. It's
But
true.
you never know what someone is going through until you start speaking to them. And we all
Yeah.
think that like, oh, only this happens to me. No, we all go through so much of the same things throughout life.
Yeah, so I think we're touching a good spot here. Like, we're talking a lot about communication, which is like one of the bases of relationship.
Yes.
We have to have good communication in order for this to happen. What other things do you think that makes like a good relationship besides of the
I
communication?
think
Why
I think
elaborate?
trust, you have to in a way like try, maybe you need to have a little bit of trust so that you feel open and vulnerable to share like your deepest self with somebody else. And
Mm-hmm.
you trust only happens after, I mean, I don't know, like for me, like trust doesn't happen immediately, like it builds on the friendship and the relationship.
Okay.
But I feel like my life is such an open book that I talk to everyone about it. So as I feel like if you're confident within yourself to share your truth, then the other person will reciprocate.
Yeah, it's funny. The thing that you said about trust for me, it's kind of funny because I used to be the person that said, uh, first I trust you,
Mm-hmm.
I give you the benefit of the doubt,
Yes.
and then I just figure out it doesn't work like that. It's
Yeah.
not the best policy ever because not everybody deserves your trust. So throughout the years, I just learned to, I meet you, I try to feel where you're going and your vibe and everything
Mm-hmm.
before I
Mm-hmm.
trust you. Now
Yeah.
I like when people try to earn my trust,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Yes.
try to earn other people's trust as well. I think this is
Yes.
very, very important because some people can be very invasive or try to take advantage of you. I mean, it's a
Mm-hmm.
beautiful world, but there's also different people. I'm not
Yes.
saying they're bad, but they're probably not in a very good place. And for me, it
Mm-hmm.
was a very good lesson, like to understand and to learn to be patient and
Okay.
wait for people to show me that I can trust them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, yeah, I trust you without
I
without
know
you
what you
doing
mean.
anything, just showing up,
Yeah.
your beautiful face.
But I think it's so important what you said. At the first and most forefront, you need to have really good communication with each other.
Yes.
Because if you don't communicate with each other, then what's the point of having the relationship?
Hmm. Yes, it's true. It's true. But we have so many messed up relationships that are based on very bad
Mm-hmm.
communication, isn't it? Like
Mm-hmm.
through this day, I still have relationships with people that it's impossible to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think we should navigate through that?
I don't know. I feel like sometimes I have that with my parents. Like we were raised so differently. Like they grew up in a communist country and, in Eastern Europe, and I grew up for the most part in the US. And so our mindset is so completely different when it comes to communicating with each other. I
Yeah.
think it's like holding space for the person and just allowing them to be who they are and giving them an opportunity to say what they need to say, and then not immediately jumping into defense mode, but just trying to analyze like what are they saying, what does that mean to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think a lot of times we listen to respond and we don't actually listen to the person and what they're saying, right? Like a lot of times, like we'll just listen and I'm just waiting until you're finished so that I can respond and say my piece, but I'm not really like responding to what you said or addressing what you're talking about.
Yeah, what you said is just gold. Yeah, I totally agree. We're just anxious that, like,
Yes,
when you're gonna finish, so I can tell you what I think
yes.
about this, and we're not even listening.
Mm-hmm.
It happens to us all, me included,
Yeah.
everyone.
I think it's
Um,
important to rephrase what the person said. So, like, you almost repeat back to that's something that we learned when I was a lawyer. Like, you repeat back what the person said to you to make sure that you have an understanding of what they were trying to communicate to you. Because maybe they're saying one thing, but you're thinking of something completely different. So, you have to be very careful that you understand what the person is trying to communicate to you.
yeah, I think another thing that it's important as well is that sometimes we assume that people will have to meet us where we are,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
but we sometimes forget to meet people where they are.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in this situation you have, or in this relationship you have better, I don't like better or worse, and
Yeah.
I don't know, but maybe you have a more broad knowledge about everything and the way your relationship is the way it is, and maybe the
Mm-hmm.
other person cannot see it, and sometimes we would love this person to see it, but I mean they can only speak from their level of conscious.
Exactly.
So the secret is, okay, you don't have to meet me here. I will
Mm-hmm.
meet you there and be understanding. Of course, not giving away my boundaries and everything
Yes.
I've learned. But sometimes I think it's a little bit of acceptance also, because
Yes.
with people that you can not communicate and you have done everything you could, it's a matter of accepting the person
Mm-hmm.
as it is.
Yes. I just forgot what I wanted to say. Oh, you need to have equal effort in every relationship. I think you and I talked a lot about that because we all
Mhm.
have those friends where we're putting so much effort into like sustaining the relationship. Like let's say we're calling each other and they're not putting forth the effort, the same effort. And that those relationships almost never work out because you have to have equal effort for the relationship
Mhm.
to progress and mature. And so, sometimes we'll have that friend who only calls us, tells us all their problems, and then says bye and never even asks us how we're doing.
We all have that person in our lives that just comes, calls, and then dumps
Yes.
all the food and then leaves. And then you're feeling like poop. And I don't know why I'm saying poop so much.
It's okay. We all get
I'm
it.
trying not to curse. And then the person leaves, and you're like,
What just happened?
yeah, what just happened? And there are also some of these people, they're like obvious, right? But then
Yes.
there are also some people, and I have felt this a few times with a particular person, but now I understand why. But I used to, hang out with this person, and I was feeling horrible. Like after like 2 hours,
What?
I was exhausted. I was like,
Okay.
I exhausted. Why do I feel so sad? Why am I so depressed? You know what I mean? Like you are all pumped up and woo, we're going out. And
Yeah.
at the end of each encounter with this person, I was feeling bad about myself.
Mm.
I was sad. I was depressed. So we have some people like this in our lives. Usually there are people who are like low key putting you down,
Yes. I
low
hate
key
that.
telling
It's
you,
like they put it in like a compliment, but it's a put down.
yeah, and then you kind of wonder, like, is it me? And it takes you about, like, I don't know. For me, it took me like an year to understand
So let me
what
ask
was
you a question.
happening.
Do you think that the reason people put you down is because you're maybe doing something that they want to be doing, but they're not? And so you're a representation of, for example, for me, I love traveling and I'm always traveling and I'm not working in the US right now where a lot of my friends are working. And sometimes they low key put me down about traveling. But I think that comes from maybe a sense of jealousy
Yeah,
of maybe they want to be travel and not be work. But you know what? It's all your choice, right? Like the reason I can travel is because I don't take $20 taxis. Like I sit on the metro for an hour to get home. You know what I mean? Like so
yeah,
each person makes a choice in how they build their life.
yeah. I think it's uh, different things can be the source of this. Jealousy is one of them. It happened to me. Like, oh,
Hmm.
you're doing that. Uh, I don't know. It happened to me as well with traveling, and I don't know. I'm kind of adventurous, and
Hmm.
I've always noticed this tone, like I don't
Should
know,
you be
very
doing that?
ambiguous. Yeah, like should you be
Yeah.
doing that, or
It's not safe. That's the one thing that we hear all the time. It's not safe for women to travel.
yeah, it's not
Basically, it's not
safe.
safe for women to be alive on this earth. That's how
Yeah,
I feel
okay,
about
let's
it.
just okay. You see, you can do whatever you want because it's not safe anyways. But what was I going to say? So yeah, jealousy. I have felt that, yes, from
Mhm.
some people, and it's whatever. And then sometimes I just think that they just want to feel better and superior.
Maybe.
They don't
I had
want
a
my life. They wouldn't love my
yeah.
life because I go into a lot of struggle. It's not, you cannot
Mhm.
be adventurous and don't suffer. You know,
Yeah.
you cannot probably, I don't know, if you are rich, you can travel the world like you
Mhm.
do and do whatever you want. But some people need to have to do sacrifices. I really think that they don't want my life. They,
Right.
they just want to be happy like I am.
Yeah.
I think that's it because I look at them and I know that they wouldn't want to do this.
Yeah.
Some people yes, but some people just want to be happy and it annoys them that I'm happy.
And when you're in this situation and you know that you want to keep that relationship still going even after they're being jealous or they're saying whatever, like to me, I think it's good communication. Like I had to tell my friend, she was always sending me like news clipping articles of how unsafe it is in India. And so I had to say to her, please stop
Mm.
sending this to me because I'm not afraid of going there. And if you want to read this, that's okay. But you sending me this is not helping me and it's not making me feel that like good about it.
Yeah, speak up and communicating your boundaries and your wishes to your friends. I think it's friends,
Hmm.
family, acquaintances, or whatever
Yeah.
people were talking
I would
about. It's important.
also like to say that you need to have a little bit of conflict within your relationship. I'm not talking about always fighting with the person, but there needs to be a situation where you both come to a conflict that you then resolve because it makes your relationship stronger. So it's something that
Hmm.
you both overcome, and then your relationship starts to change and starts to mature. So a little bit of,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be like a big thing, but like a little thing that
Yeah, a little bit of stress or tension
yes.
usually
Mm-hmm.
proves if you are in a good relationship or not. Yes,
Right.
I totally agree with that because in these sort of situations, you see who's there and who's not there.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives you an opportunity to go to another level.
Yes.
And it's great. Yeah, I wanted to say something else. What was it about? Yeah, I was agreeing with you with the good communication and the equal about the being like the
Equal effort.
relationship. Yes, about the equal effort. I would just
Mhm.
like to add that it's not about like I do 50 and you do 50. It's not that literal. I just feel
Yeah.
obliged to tell this. I don't know why,
Mhm.
but I think it's a good, I would say that it's about reciprocity.
Yes.
And it was, do you remember that? I think I spoke about this in one of the episodes that I was trying to manifest my perfect relationship. And one of the things I was looking for was reciprocity because
Yes.
you don't want a one-way relationship with anyone, with your
Mhm.
family, with your friends, with your partner. You don't want that kind of relationship. It's not about being 50-50 every day, but
Mhm.
being, I don't know, 75-25 today and tomorrow we're 50-50 and tomorrow and the other
Yeah.
day maybe I take our relationship and try to do stuff.
Right.
It's just like, and it's so hard because it's a balance, right? But
Mhm.
you
Yes.
need to feel that the person is also in the relationship because that's the point of it all, right? Connecting and
Right.
being in relationship with each other.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think it's important also to know when to let things go and not harp on things.
Ooh. Yes.
Do you want to
Okay.
add to this?
No, well, of course, I always want to add things, but yes, it's very important to let go of things. I mean, it's funny. I had this conversation with my partner. Like sometimes you need to speak up.
Yes.
Sometimes you don't need to speak up. But if you are not going to speak up, just let the thing go.
Exactly. Don't
Because
fester on it.
yes, because you are going to end up fighting for, I don't know, napkins
Mhm.
because you are stressed about something that happens. So
Right.
yeah, so make a decision. sometimes I don't speak up about when it happens, like something happens. And I'm like, do I really want to cover this? Is this important? Just check yourself and ask you some questions, like to check if you, because it may seem that it's not important. You think it's not important, but somehow you can take this thing out of your, out of your head. Then in this case, just talk about it. If you can let go, that's fine. But let's go. It's hard. Letting go, it's hard, but it's necessary.
It is
because
hard, but you feel so much lighter when you do. It's like you didn't even know that you were
yeah,
carrying that stress in your body because of it.
yeah. But how do you live in a relationship if you don't let go of stuff?
Exactly.
I want to add something. Relationships are hard. We have this thing that, I don't know, that relationships should be easy, and yes, they should be. I don't know if easy is a good word for it, but they should flow. Yes, that's
Yes.
true. They
Yes.
should
Flow is a
flow.
good word.
And they should flow. They should have like a specific energy depending on the type of relationship. But relationships are not easy. Like, they're tough, and sometimes you need to let go of things. Sometimes you need to speak up, and it's hard. And it's a part of maintaining like a good relationship with people, any type of relationship.
I think relationships make you grow as a person. So
Oh
like what you were
yes,
saying earlier is that maybe
yeah.
the friend is not at the same level as you are, and you have to accept that and then decide if you still want to continue that relationship or if it's going to go away.
Yes, totally. And about, I remember what I wanted to say before also. And when you are in a situation and the person is in a different energy or putting you down, or imagine that you don't have a very healthy relationship with that person and you don't know what to do. Of course, you can cut the relationship, you can end it. Okay, I'm not speaking with this person anymore, and that's it. You can communicate with that person, as Ivana said. I think that's like first step. Let's communicate and
Yes.
see if we can sort this out. But sometimes it's, that this person is not going to change, and you love that person and you want to keep that person in your life. In this case, I would say boundaries. I would
Yes,
say
yes, we love boundaries.
boundaries are great. And then figure out, for example, if this person is draining your energy every time you spend time with her, with you, whatever, you just, instead of going out for a night out, instead of doing that, why don't you have a coffee, like half an hour coffee? You still have a
Yeah.
relationship with that person. Don't speak with that person, don't talk with them for 2 hours on the phone. You can set this limit and still keep that person. And you know and I think it's a good option, because sometimes we want to keep that relationship. Sometimes that person can be our brother, cousin, mother, father, and
Yes.
what do you do?
Right.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing that.
sure.
And I think we also want to mention how we talked about this earlier, that they always say that you're a reflection of the 5 closest people around you. How do you
Totally.
think that factors into with relationships?
I mean, relationships, they affect us, and we affect the people around us.
Yes.
And I mean, if you have someone putting you down all the time, you're going to start doubting yourself. I mean, you can be the strongest person on earth. I promise you that after some time, it will affect you. And
Yes.
if you want to grow, if you want to be better in life, I don't know, whatever you want to achieve, you just take a look around you and see who's around you, and what is the base of of your relationships. And because they are going to be there to affect you. If you partner with someone that is rooting for you, that is reminding you that you have to rest sometimes, that it's helping you out,
Yeah.
well, life is going to be easier. If you are with people that someone who's not there for you, and does not cheer your dreams, and I mean, that's going to be a tough life.
So I have to share that you are one of my 5 people, because we talk like we talk
amazing.
almost every day, and you're very encouraging, and I can talk to you, and I trust you, and I can talk to you about anything, and I hope you feel the same way.
I feel the same.
Yeah, that we can say anything to each other and help each other out in situations. And so this is what matters, because the 5 people, like each person carries a type of energy and aura around them. And
Mhm.
the more you're with them, you start to share that same energy with them. So it's very important that you have, close friends, and that they're positive. Like I
Yes,
feel like
true.
our relationship is very uplifting to me, like because we're always
It
laughing about it.
is.
We're
Yes.
growing.
We are growing. I think that the most important thing here is that we support each other and
Yes.
that we make each other grow. Like I am writing my book in May because
Yes.
you are all over and you're like, come on, do it, come on. And I'm like, I received this sign from the universe and you're like, do it. And I am writing it. And I was like, oh,
Yes, a whole
maybe
month early.
a whole month. Yes,
And have I started my book? No.
well, I'm gonna get on your nerves now. I have been low-key sending you tips, right? I'm like,
I know you have.
you're gonna do it. I know you're gonna do
I
it.
am.
But I
I
mean,
am.
that's the kind of relations, the type of relationship that we want to have in our lives.
Yes.
Like,
People that are encouraging and supporting and
yes,
uplifting.
yes, and we feel comfortable around. Like, seriously, you cannot have a partner that you're like
Hmm.
uncomfortable around. You know what
Yes.
I mean? You have to be comfortable, and it's so important in order to grow and just
Hmm.
to navigate life, because I mean things are tough right now,
Yeah.
you
And also
know?
to be your authentic self. Remember, that was one of my words, is authenticity. Like present yourself as you are. And I think
Yeah,
a lot of times people go in with like masks because they're afraid they've been hurt in the past. They
yeah,
don't want the same experience. So they're very like closed off
yeah,
to it.
yeah, it's true. um and yeah, but sometimes it's hard for us to show up as ourselves because in the
Yes.
past it wasn't seen. I don't know, maybe you had some experiences in the past where you opened up or something happened to you that made you, close your heart to all types of relationships basically. And sometimes it's hard to show and
Yes.
to step up and be. So I would love to tell people, like, just build up your self confidence so you can
Hmm.
be more authentic and so you can be more of yourself, and surround yourself by people who embrace that, because
Yes.
like these people, they are there, trust me, they're there. Once you start to know these people, you're going to be like, oh, all right, so that's it, you're going to be
Yes.
silly and people will be silly with you, and see, there's
Hmm.
nothing wrong about it. But it's a long way, it's a
Yes.
long way, yeah.
So we're speaking on this friend circle. How do you think people can make friends? Like, what are some steps? Because as we get older, it changes, right? Like, it was so easy
Yes.
to make friends in school because we were in the same environment, we were on the same schedule, we
Yeah.
didn't have obligations. And so now, as you get older, I would say it's more difficult than it was in school age.
Yeah, something interesting happened to me today. So
Okay.
I am a primary school teacher, and I've been teaching online every day. So you know what's happening because of the
Mm-hmm.
corona. And so I was looking at my students, and they were talking about, talking with their best friends every day. And they have so many friends, and life is so good with my best friends. We play games together. And like, why can it be like this when because we are
Yes.
still the same people. We still carry
Mm-hmm.
that child inside.
Yes.
And why is it so hard? One of my best friends, I met her just, I was having a drink with this dude. Uh, Funny. I just forgot that he existed. Okay, so I was, it's true. I was
I
having,
guess that was a relationship for a small season.
no, actually, yes, it was for a small season. It was a guy, and this goes very well into our topic. And I didn't think about this. So it was this guy, and I thought we were friends like forever.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. I have a friend that it's a dude. And I was so happy because since I'm here in Tenerife, it's very hard to have like men, like guys friends,
Yes.
guy friends,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
because I'm a woman. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't go like all the way to it and like, oh, we should be friends. You don't do that. And I was
Yeah.
so used in Portugal. I had like 10 friends that were men. I
Mm-hmm.
I had very few like little girls friends. So yeah, so I was hanging out with this guy, and I just met a bunch of girls, and I met one particular girl, and we discovered that we are both Portuguese, and we were like, "Do you want to be my friend?" Yes, of course, I want to be your friend. Yeah, and we are friends to this day. I think it has been more than 2 years. I don't know, but we work together. We are in each other's face all the time,
And
and
I met her, didn't I?
you met her, yes,
Yeah.
and you met her, and it's easy peasy. Do you want to be my friend? Yes,
hmm
okay, let's go. And why is it so
Yeah.
weird? Why is it so weird nowadays to do that?
I don't know, but you're so right. Like as a kid, we would play in the sandbox and we would just like ask the person, "Will you play with me?" And then you just play together. And I
Yeah,
think as adults, we make it much harder than it needs to be.
yeah, and we make it weird, but it's not. I don't know. It's not weird if you want to be like you want to hang out. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
cool. You don't want. So one tip is just try. If there's somebody, let's say that you go to this I don't know, theater or whatever.
hmm
You talk to someone, you connect with this person. Just ask the person if they want to hang out.
Yeah.
Just do that. Try
Ask
it
ask
out.
them if they want to have a coffee date with you. That's what I've been doing. So like when I
Yeah.
came back to the place where I grew up, I don't know anyone here because they've all moved away. And so I
Hmm.
started going to the yoga studio, and if I met a person that I liked, I would just ask them to come have a coffee date with me and then, decide on if we're going to talk more about things. But that's how I
Yeah.
met friends, was through the yoga studio. So find out like what your interests are and then find a place that caters to those interests, whether that's yoga,
Hmm.
maybe it's spiritual retreats, maybe it's church. Like I don't know, maybe you're a church goer. Like church is a great way to meet
Oh
people.
yes. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Sports activities. Like we talked about meetup. So that's I think is almost
Yes.
everywhere. So like meetup groups and
Yeah.
find your interest and then meet up with people. I've met some really great people that way before.
Yeah. Me too. I'm in this women's group, and I just love it. They're great.
Mhm.
We meet once a month. Now that we
Mhm.
are in this situation, we are having like this virtual meetings,
Meeting. Yeah.
but it's just great. I mean, there are a lot of things that you can do, and right now, online platforms is also a good way to meet people. I
Yes.
met some people through Instagram.
Oh
And
really? Oh
this,
yeah. Mhm.
yeah, yeah. And I'm actually working with
True.
one of them right now. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's so cool.
Mhm.
You have to be careful and everything. Please don't go crazy. Don't go like catfish like. But it can happen. But it can happen. Go online and meet people. If these people they have the same interests, especially
Yes.
Instagram. I love Instagram,
Yeah.
especially there you only connect with people with the same interests as if you're doing things
Exactly.
right, you only connect with people with the same interests as you, so probably they are from the same area that you are, or probably they are into whatever
Mhm.
you are trying to do, and it's such a good way to connect with people, to grow, to learn new stuff. It's great.
Yes.
I just love it.
I agree. And I love the vegan food that they have on Instagram. Like that's a great way to find like recipes and other things and maybe connect with the people that have the website.
Yeah, I mean, just nowadays, this internet thing, I think you can do anything from the internet, even to find
Yes.
friends, from finding
And I think
friends
it's
to,
important to say too that like I know now that's not the case because a lot of us are still in quarantine, but once
yeah,
we're not, meet up with the person in person instead of being, using your phone or your computer because then you're having a human interaction because that's so important.
yes, yes, it's true. It's very important. And do we want to talk about dating apps? Because I think they're
Sure.
great. A lot of people are embarrassed to use dating apps, but come
I have.
on.
I've met some interesting people that have given me a lot of good laughs.
What? I met my boyfriend there. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of interesting people. You just have to
Mhm.
do things right. I should write
Yeah.
an ebook
Write
on
a
it.
blog about that. Actually, using one of my friends that I read it somewhere, she said that she used Tinder in different countries, and not so much for like just as a tour guide, because then she got to interact with the local. She was shown like some spots that she never would have found herself. And so that, if you're traveling, maybe that's a good way to meet locals that can show you around the city and make a
Yeah.
new friend so that when you visit, you can like hang out with them.
Yes, it's true. I think it's so useful. And for me, I was like so broken after my last breakup. And it's not like I met a lot of people that was like, okay, whatever. But it was like, going back slowly, to the dating
Mhm.
scene. I just met this person, it's okay.
Yeah.
And then you get used to talk to men again, or women, or whatever you prefer. And it's
Mhm.
it's good. If you are thinking about it, just do it. And it depends on what you want from the platform. But basically,
Exactly.
if you just keep it safe and everything, I
Yeah.
think it's
I
great.
have
I
lots
love
of friends that
dating
have
apps.
gotten married to the person they met on dating apps. I think at least
Yeah.
five that I can think of just now.
But it's not like it used to be before. It's
Yeah.
not like before. Like you find, of course, you find what a lot of crazy stuff in there, but it's nowadays it's so hard to connect that basically pretty much everyone is there. You know what I mean? So a lot of
Yeah.
good people, a lot of good guys, girls, they're
Mhm.
hanging out there, and I think it's lovely because if you are not gonna say hi when when you see me in
Yeah.
the cafeteria, you better say hi on Tinder. It's easier for people, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what else do you think makes a healthy relationship besides all
Okay.
the things we've already talked about?
Yeah, we covered equal efforts or reciprocity.
Yes.
We spoke about good communication,
Mhm. Letting
empathy,
things go.
letting things go.
Empathy is really good. Yes.
Yeah, because if you don't see me, then what are we doing? I mean, you have to put yourself in my situation and my shoes, and I have to do the same for you because
Mhm.
otherwise, then what are we doing?
Yeah.
In order to have a good relationship, we have to understand where is this people coming from,
Mhm.
and you have to see where I'm coming from as well, so we can be
Yeah.
equal, right? And so we
Yes,
can
I
have
think
a
it's having
real
respect for each other.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
We should have respect for each other, absolutely. And I think that we should also make a list, even if it is mental, about what it means for us to have a healthy relationship.
Oh, okay.
Because some people may have a different idea. Okay,
Mhm.
forget about red flags. Okay, red flags are red
Yeah.
flags with bullying, um, toxic behavior, manipulating, all kind of. We know
Mhm.
that it's not good, and no, and but
Make a vision board for relationships.
yeah, why not? If you are having
Yeah.
problems in this part of your life, in this area, I think it's a good
Mhm.
idea to have a vision board, and to figure out what is healthy. What is
Mhm.
healthy to
Yes.
you? I think that we covered pretty much everything. Like you have an honest relationship. Um,
Mhm.
you feel safe.
Yes, that's such a big thing. You have to have like trust for each other to feel safe so that
Yeah.
you can open up yourself and be vulnerable with that person. Because if you don't feel safe, oh, remember what we talked about the butterflies? If those butterflies are
Yes.
back in your stomach, that's
Yes.
not a feeling of safety, okay,
Yeah.
people? I have
Yeah.
to mention that.
We get
Like
this one very
listen,
messed up. Yes.
yeah, listen to your gut in all relationships. You talked about that, like how you felt bad after hanging out with a person, your
Yeah.
energy was always drained. You need to be in tune within yourself. Like figure out like how am I feeling when I'm hanging out with this person? Like, do I feel happy or is something going on inside of me that makes me a little bit apprehensive?
Yes. I think you should check all that.
Yeah. Because the butterflies go towards friendships as well. They're not just all like romantic. It's this, listen to your gut. That is like your one thing that's supposed to save you. You know what I mean? Like your gut and your intuition
Hmm.
really are there to help you.
Yeah, and sometimes we have this idea that like our friends should be forever, and it's so
Mhm.
hard to let go of a
Yes.
long time friendship.
Mhm.
And it's hard, but like, I mean, it's not like this person needs to be there forever. If this relationship is not working for you, if it's not what you need, if it's not doing you any favor,
Yeah.
then we'll let go of the relationship or use some of the advice that we gave you, like not spending so much time with the person and creating your
Boundaries.
personal boundaries.
Mhm.
Exactly. But just don't be stuck on this idea that every relationship that comes to your life needs to be there, or
Mhm.
that just because we have met 10 years ago we need to still be friends.
Right.
And this just reminds me of something, our relationship with the family.
Yes.
There is an idea, a myth going around that just because it's family, we have to put up with everything.
That's not
Okay,
true.
that's not true. If it is a family member, they should treat you even better because they're a family better. It's
Exactly.
not the other way around. So
Right.
just because it's your family doesn't mean that they can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, there is this idea. I think that society wants to keep families together and everything, and
Yes.
it's useful to society to keep families together. But some family members suck. So some family members, we have to take them out of our lives. We have to put boundaries, and we have to act on it. I mean,
Yes.
it's you can accept the situation, and acceptance is great, but accept the situation and then act on it, right? If it is
Mm-hmm.
too bad for you, if it is too good, you just think about it.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
some people don't have such good family relationships. I used to work a lot with abused and neglected kids in court, and some of the things that you had families doing, like you can't even imagine. Like one mom was putting a padlock on a refrigerator so the kids couldn't eat food. I mean, it's just heartbreaking.
Yeah, yeah. So you get to choose if you want to have a relationship with these people. You are
Yeah,
not obliged to have a relationship with anyone.
exactly.
Anyone.
It's your choice. That's the first thing that you said when we started this podcast. It
Yeah.
is your choice, and at all times, you are in control of who you want to spend time with.
Yeah, exactly. And even if it is your family, I say that again because I know I've been in this situation and I know how tough it is.
Hmm.
And I know the amount of pressure that we have from society and from everyone. What? You don't talk with your father? Oh, you should be like a horrible person.
Yeah.
Well,
But
I
they don't know
mean,
who your father was and how he treated you, so they have no right to say that to you.
exactly. So you have to choose for yourself and just don't feel bad about it because sometimes
Yeah,
we have to, and sometimes it's even better for the relationship if you back off,
exactly.
sorry,
Back
if
off.
you back
Yeah.
off. So just think about it and really think it through because we have so many misleading ideas about relationship, and it's
Hmm.
completely normal. The other day I was thinking that, do you remember if we were talking about how to love when you didn't have
Yes.
any, it's the
Good
same about,
examples.
yeah, it's the same with the relationships. I was when was it? I was thinking about this, I think today, yesterday. I was thinking about, I didn't have very good examples. And on top
Hmm.
of that, I was watching a lot of soap operas. Do you know? I mean,
Yes, I know. You know my story about soap operas.
I know you learn the English and everything. But like, how crazy is that? That's how I
Yeah.
build relationships.
Yes.
So you need to have a lot of trouble. So the guy
Conflict.
like
Some
conflict
slapping around.
all the time, a lot of conflict because otherwise it isn't love.
Yes.
I mean, we have to rethink all of this. Just think about what we want,
Yes.
but also the ideas we have about relationships, because this all sounds very funny and ridiculous, but our
Hmm.
unconscious mind is thinking like that. Believe
Hmm.
me. Once
Yeah.
you start digging, you're gonna find some weird
Yeah.
things.
So I think it's important for our audience to figure out like what a really relationship means to them and what
Yeah.
they think what makes healthy relationships.
Yeah.
And then figure out who their five people are and how that's affecting their energy levels.
Yeah. And spend more time with that five people. And the other
Exactly.
people, just hang out whenever you feel like, when you have
Hmm.
energy left, and
Yeah.
spend more time with that five people.
Hmm.
And if you don't have five people, just go find them. And if you have one or two who are
Yes.
great and they are like five people at the same time, then I'm
Hmm.
happy for you.
Yeah, right now I don't have five people. And I used to be the one that is always like texting people, like wishing them every happy holiday, everything. And I was
Mhm.
like, I didn't realize how much energy I was just exerting, and I didn't have any energy left for me. So
Yeah.
now I've completely reduced my people so that I don't have to feel drained.
Okay. All right. You're respecting your levels of energy, and
Yes.
that's totally fine. And if the amount of people you have in your life, they're enough, you feel fulfilled, you feel, you know, it's valuable,
Yeah.
then it is. I don't have five people right now. I don't think I have.
Because I'm just thinking about who are the people that I talk to like on the daily, and yeah,
Mhm.
it's I think 4 people.
Me too. Okay, guys, so you are the average of the 4 people you hang out with. Just joking. But I mean, the idea is just make sure you surround yourself with positive people. And if you
Yes.
look around, it happened to me some years ago, 5 years
Yeah.
ago, I don't know. I looked around and I didn't see myself in those people.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You know, for
Yes.
example, there's one friend I really love, but all of our conversations were about talking poop about other people, you know, because otherwise
Yes.
we have no subject.
Yeah. And that's very
No, I don't
draining.
want that. No, I really don't
Yeah.
want that. I feel so bad talking. Like, even though nowadays, when someone starts talking some
Yeah.
bullshit about other people, I just say, listen, I don't want to know.
Right.
Because it's horrible. I feel very bad. I really,
Yeah.
really, really feel very bad.
Well, that's what a lot of people do all across the world. They love talking about other people,
Yeah, but
and
what's
not always
what's
in a
the
good way.
and what's the relationship we have if we don't even talk about each other?
Right.
It's just there's no point. So it
Mhm.
happened to me. I looked around and I was like, what is this? What am I doing? Who are these people? I'm not
Yeah.
like this, but yet I'm sitting down and ha ha ha. And
Right.
why? So yeah, take your time and find new people if you don't have. Start online. There's so many beautiful communities right now. Like
Exactly.
Mind Valley is so
Ah,
cool.
yes. Yeah.
Their Facebook pages, they are great. Evercoach
Mhm.
is great. Jay Shetty's Facebook page is also great. There are a lot of
Yeah.
good stuff over there. And you can basically
Mhm.
just write down, are you in Chicago or whatever? And
Yeah.
you like 100 people will answer.
Respond. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A great way to do also is to go to an event like that interests you. That's a great way to meet people. One site that I love is called Post Secret. Do you know what about that?
Secret. I don't know that.
So Post Secret was started by I think his name is Frank Warren, if I remember correctly. But he his life was not going well, and he wanted to commit suicide, and then he decided not to, and he started this project where people mail him postcards of their secret to so that other people can relate and see that like, look, you're not the only one. So many of us have the same secrets that we think are shameful, but they're not. And so he has written like 4 books, I think it's 4 now, with secrets that are compiled together, and he hosts like events in the US. I don't know if it's international, but I know he does it in the US, where he reads some of the secrets, and the event is amazing, and I met really cool people there. But it's such a, and what he does is with the money that he earns from selling his books, he gives back to the suicide prevention hotline so that people can get help that are about to commit suicide.
Wow.
And it's just such a great community. Like every Sunday, he posts new secrets that you can check, and that was what I was always looking forward to Sundays, is because the new secrets would be out, and you realize like there's like at least 3 or 4 secrets that you have every Sunday that you're like, okay, I do this, and it kind of brings you together in a way. Like it makes you like feel like, ah, okay, this other person has the same secret. Now it's not. It doesn't make me feel so bad.
Yeah, and this is one thing that's so cool. I'm gonna look it up. Can I find? Is there a web page online? Do you know the
Yeah,
web page?
postsecret.com.
Oh, that's so cool. I love the idea. And that's one of the things about relationships. If you can relate to people and see that you are not alone. Like,
Exactly.
how many times have we spoke to each other and we said something like, you know what, that happened to me once. That's how
Yeah.
I dealt with it. I know how you
Mhm.
feel because I've been through a similar situation, or now you know how I
Exactly.
feel. And it's and we need this.
Mhm.
And it is important for you to have good relationships in your lives and healthy relationships because of this. Because
Yeah.
you, first of all, we're human. We need to connect. We are in this world to connect. If you believe that we are all connected, then what are you
Mhm.
doing all by yourself?
Yeah.
We need to connect. And it's a good thing that we can talk to each other and realize that we are the same and that we are not
Yeah.
alone.
Exactly. And sometimes you make friends with like things that you think are weird about you, and like you find another weirdo and it is a match.
Yes, that is
in
totally
a good
right.
way.
Yes. And sometimes you're like, oh, I'm so weird. And then you meet someone and you're like, oh my God, no, I'm normal.
You can be the normal friend.
And for me to be the normal friend, you can try to guess how the
What are
other.
you saying? Okay, what are you saying? Because you're in my friend circle. So, like, is there something that you want to say in this podcast?
No, I just mean I have this idea that I am not normal and I love it, you know. And if I think that someone is like crazier than me, if I think you are crazier than me, then I
Yeah.
don't know what you're doing, you know, because I'm not very normal and I love it. I don't care about it. I love my craziness. Love it.
Yes.
Uh, why do you think it's are there any other reasons you want to share about why it's important for us to have healthy relationships?
Because there's something so beautiful when you have another person that you can share a moment with. You know
Mm,
what I mean? Like
yes.
someone, especially when you're traveling, it there's things that you saw that you were just alone, and then to have another friend that you can tell about, or to be there with a friend to experience the same thing is just it's
Yeah.
beautiful. There's something beautiful about that connection, about sharing so many memories with people.
Yeah.
And friends are, like when you're going through something hard in your life, they're there to support you and encourage you. And
Hmm.
it's so important to have a good base of people that you can rely on. Like I had a friend who like canceled her work when I came back to the US. I haven't been in the US in 2 years, and she knew that I couldn't drive because I was still having problems with my eye. So this woman, she canceled her work, packed her husband and her son in the car, and drove 6 hours to come spend like 3 days with me. And that's a
That's
real friend, you know what
friendship.
I mean? Like that is
Yes.
friendship. But I have to
Yeah.
tell you that that same person, we had a massive fight and we had conflict where we didn't speak to each other for a whole year. And then we decided to make up, but it was like a whole year we did not speak up because we got into a horrible fight with each other. And so that's what I'm saying. Like sometimes you need the conflict to help the
Hmm.
relationship grow more
Yeah.
and move in a different direction. And so like that is a true friend, you know what I mean? Like she drove 6 hours each way just to come see me because I couldn't go see her. And
Wow.
that's real friendship, you know what I mean? Like there's nothing
Yeah.
more I can say about that's a true
Yeah.
friend.
That's love.
Yeah, it is.
Hmm.
I don't know if you used to watch Grey's Anatomy, but the two main characters, they would always say like you're my person. She got me a necklace that says you're my person. So it's beautiful. Like I'm so proud of that friendship. But like I said, it took years of growing. We've known each other since 2004. So that's 16
Hmm.
years of
Yeah.
ups and downs and different things. I was there for the birth of her child.
Hmm.
So we've been through so many like big life events together. And I
It's
feel like I
so
can tell her
beautiful.
anything, you know what I mean? Like because we live together, so like we know each other.
Yeah, that thing that you just told that you can speak to her about everything. It's so cool, and that just reminded me that before I used to have friends like I have this friend to go for dating advice. I have this friend to go for, and it was so it was
Mhm.
so all over the place. I didn't have a lot
Mhm.
of people like that I actually connected.
Yes.
And the thing about wearing masks, or this is my party people, my talk about serious shit together, my
Yes.
like I
Oh
and
yeah, it's heavy.
yeah,
Oh, it's the
it's
right word.
heavy. Now I think about it, I'm like, oh, I don't want that in my life. I just want people, real connections. And
Yeah.
we didn't speak about this, and I think it's very important because nowadays what I think that is hard besides making friends is making real friends.
Exactly. Because we're older now, and so a lot of us, first of all, a lot of our friends are married and have kids, and so that's
Hmm.
their number one priority. And
True.
to have true friends, like who are the people that are gonna come help you move? You know what I mean? That's also how you find out who your true friends
So real
are.
friends, I don't have real friends because only one person helped me move in my life. Joke. I had friends. but yeah, and this is one thing that I always complain about. Now I'm kind of happy with my circle, and
Mhm.
to be honest, with this full-time job, side job, podcast,
Yes.
it's just like if I now go start making friends, I don't have time for new friends.
Exactly.
I'm just keeping my dearest ones close to me and
Close.
treat you
Yeah.
well. Uh, but like I always complain that it's hard to make real friends and to have deep
It is.
connections with people because people
It is.
don't want to talk about their fears and what
Hmm.
last time they feel ashamed and all this kind of stuff. A lot of people want to talk about superficial things, and I'm not into that
Exactly.
anymore. You
Hmm.
know, I can't talk about the weather for an hour. It's like five
It's
minutes,
true. It's
two
true.
minutes, right?
Yeah. But that's, you make a choice, like you just said, that because you have so many things going on, you've decided to keep your circle the way it is. And that's
Yeah,
fine. Like if it
yeah.
works for you and you feel good, that's fine because we get so busy with things in life. And yeah,
Yeah, and I feel comfortable with this, but I also feel the pain of the people that are trying to make friends right now because I think
yes.
about me like 5 years ago,
Hmm.
surrounded by beautiful people, but they were not my vibe, like beautiful people.
Yeah.
And like all of a sudden they're like trying to make friends, and they find out that a lot of people are not available, they don't
Hmm.
understand, they are like rejected. What would you say to those people?
That are rejected.
Yes, that are rejected, or that they're trying to build real relationships, but most of the relationships are
I guess
superficial.
for me, if I put myself in their shoes, is just be open about your truth. Like,
Mm,
I always, that's just how I am. Like, I share very private information with a lot of people, and sometimes, like, it comes to bite me in the butt. But
yeah.
most of the time, it's actually led me to beautiful friendships.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I would keep harping on is speak your truth and see how the other person responds, because maybe they're going through the same thing that you are, and then you can form a friendship
Mm.
that way.
Yeah, it's true. If you open up more, then you give the other person the opportunity to do so. And maybe instead of thinking about how superficial everything
Hmm.
is, just try to move it around and talk about other topics and see how people
Yeah.
respond.
And I love sharing embarrassing moments because then it puts the other person at ease. You know what I mean? If you're there sharing an embarrassing
Yeah.
moment, like I've told so many people about how I had food poisoning once and I threw up at the Target cashier line. Like I was about to pay for the money and all of a sudden I just turned around and I threw up all the bad chicken that I'd eaten. And I remember the person, the grocer, she stepped back from it because she was so disgusted. And then I couldn't go to Target for like 2 weeks because I didn't want people to remember what I looked like. But so, if you share something funny or an embarrassing moment, it doesn't make it so embarrassing anymore. And you set the tone, you set the environment for the other person to share something funny with you as well, because you've opened that up. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, be the first, be the one to give the first step. Be
exactly.
brave, open up. I love your advice. I think it's great because sometimes we just complain and do nothing. I
Yes.
like it. Yes, I
But
agree.
like relationships take work. That's what you said. It's one of the
Yeah.
hardest things. So, it's going to take work for you. But if you put the work in, like you're going to get a really good return out of it.
Yes, I love it. Oh my God, I love this topic so much. Did we cover everything? I want to make sure we
I
did.
think so. I don't think there's anything else that I have that I wanted to mention, except that we really want to hear from our audience. We want
Yeah.
to know how you're handling relationships and want to hear about your friend circle and what you're doing.
Yeah, and if you have any great advice to add to what we said, we would love to hear from you because
Yes,
I always like advice, especially like what are you doing in this quarantine, like to stay
exactly.
together because it's so hard, you know? You are
Mhm.
basically at home and some people live by themselves. So if you want to talk to us about that, just send us an email to chaywithuspodcast@gmail.com. We're going to put the
Yes.
email just right over here so you can see it and also in the description.
Yes.
Uh, and don't forget, if you want to support us, just subscribe, say I like it, comment, and share it
Yes.
with someone you love. Maybe they
We
will
love
benefit
your
from this
comments, so please like
conversation.
keep having the comments come our way.
It's coming.
Yes. I think
Okay.
that's it, yeah? So see you at
Yeah.
the next podcast.
See you in the next podcast. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye.